English news program on Azerbaycan Television with the most important events of the day. I'm Güler Gocayevan. President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, İlham Aliyev, received credentials of the newly appointed Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Kingdom of Netherlands, Pauline Ismas.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, it's a real honor for me to be here today and to present to you the credentials of His Majesty the King of the Netherlands, Willem-Alexander. He asked me to convey to you the best wishes to your country and your people.
Welcome. It happens that your arrival to Azerbaijan almost coincided with the war. Therefore, our meeting was postponed due to the objective circumstances. I was informed that you arrived almost 2 months ago, so I'm sure you understand why our meeting didn't take place earlier. But unfortunately, when our meeting was appointed, I got information that the Parliament of your country adopted a motion, anti-Azerbaijani motion, also anti-Turkish motion, providing the sanctions against Azerbaijan. I was informed by my assistant that during the discussions, the Foreign Minister of Netherlands advocated for a more balanced approach, so we appreciate that, but of course, the fact that the Parliament adopts such a unbalanced and I think unjust decision will not, of course, help us to establish closer ties. First of all, I'd like to say, taking into account the fact that yesterday this decision was adopted, that it was Armenia who attacked us. We were defending ourselves, and as a result of that, we managed to liberate territories which belong to us due to the norms and principles of international law and belong to us historically. Our fight was a fight for freedom, for liberation, and it ended with a great military success and also political success. And on November 10th, as you know, the trilateral statement was signed, which puts an end to war. Therefore, for me, it was very strange that after Armenia itself signed this declaration, which basically is a capitulation, such a decision was adopted in a country which is situated far away from our region. As you probably know, the regional countries supported this declaration. All our neighbors expressed support to this declaration. Two of our neighbors, Russia and Turkey, will be part of the operations which will provide security and safety for Azerbaijanis and Armenians. So I think that it is more just to be on our side rather than on some other side. And also probably you are informed about the comments of US State Department, which supports the ceasefire European Union. Therefore, I understand that parliamentarians, they have their own agenda. Sometimes they have their own preferences. It's understandable. And I understand that the government of your country has its own position, which may be different from what was adopted by the parliament, but it will be difficult to explain to our people why it happened. Therefore, I think that you will have to face this situation when people will ask you why Netherlands was the first country whose parliament adopts such a decision. From a practical point of view, it's definitely that it will not have any impact on the situation on the ground. Situation now is stabilizing. Our refugees and IDPs who waited for this day for almost 30 years, are celebrating this great military and political victory, and they are looking forward to see the timetable for their return. But it will take time because aggressor destroyed almost everything. And these videos are shown on our TV. This devastation probably is a unique form of brutality, vandalism, barbarism against our people, against our cultural, religious heritage, against humanity. And the way how Armenia behaved during the war also shows the unhuman attitude of their leadership, because attacking peaceful cities situated far away from the conflict zone by ballistic missiles from the territory of Armenia is a war crime. Using cluster bombs and phosphor bombs is a war crime. So all the international media testified that, and also international NGOs. So I regret that I have to start our conversation with that, but that was only due to the fact that our meeting was appointed 2 days ago, and the decision of your parliament was made later than that. Apart from that, what can I say? Once again, it will be not easy to explain it. It will also depend on the position of your government, of your foreign minister. We are expecting their comments on that, because my assistant told me that there have been comments during the discussion, but we expect comments now after this decision was made. Of course, we will be expecting the comments from European Commission. As you know, European Commission and Azerbaijan have a very broad agenda of cooperation, and 2 years ago we initiated partnership priorities document in Brussels, which fully supports sovereignty, territorial integrity, and inviolability of international borders of Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan was fighting on its own territory, was restoring its own territorial integrity, and it is in line with UN Security Council resolutions, with a document which was initialed by EU and Azerbaijan. I wish you a pleasant time. I hope that this not very pleasant page in our history will not seriously damage our relations, but of course it will depend on the further steps of your government and our government, which will act in a corresponding way. So welcome once again.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. As you mentioned, I arrived here on the 20th of September, 1 week before the conflict started again. So this was a very hectic period, but also a time that allowed me to understand very well what the sources of the conflicts were. And that's something that I have liaised very closely with my capital as well. And as you mentioned, the position of my government is very balanced. And that's something that I value greatly, and that has also been the result of analysis, discussions, and good dialogue. So I'd like to stress that again, that the position of my government is very much in line with that of the EU, and it's very balanced. So we have followed the conflict, we've seen what happened, and we are always very concerned with what the conflict caused, but on both sides. So in our system, there's a difference. The government has a position, the parliament has a position, and that requires dialogue. That dialogue took place on several occasions, in which we also noted that the balanced position of the government was not always the same position as the parliament. In the recent discussion last week with the minister, between parliament and minister, these questions were also raised. And the minister, both in writing and orally, has consistently said that these things that are raised are not according to the position of my government. So sanctions and all that are absolutely not on the cards right now. It's irrelevant. There can't be any question of a discussion about that. So that's something that my minister has said very clearly in Parliament, but also in writing. So I'm happy I can repeat that again here.
President İlham Aliyev thanked for the best wishes of Willem Alexander and asked the ambassador to extend his greetings to the King of the Netherlands.
According to the press service of the Republic of Azerbaijan, on November 18th, Chairman of the Presidency of Bosnia and Herzegovina, Shefik Džaferović, called President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev. Shefik Džaferović welcomed the signing of a statement on the restoration of peace in the Nagorno-Karabakh region of Azerbaijan. He noted that the signing of this statement, based on the norms and principles of morality, justice and international law, will bring stability to the whole region and open new prospects. Shefik Džaferović also informed the head of State of Bosnia and Herzegovina's position in support of the territorial integrity of the Republic of Azerbaijan and the relevant resolution adopted by the Parliamentary Assembly of his country in this regard. During the phone conversation, President İlham Aliyev briefed Shefik Džaferović on all the details of the signed statement and its implementation, as well as the current situation in the region. President İlham Aliyev praised the principal's position of the chairman of the Presidium of Bosnia and Herzegovina, Shefik Džaferović, on Bosnia and Herzegovina's support for Azerbaijan's territorial integrity. During the phone conversation, it was noted that there are high-level friendly relations between the two countries and there are great opportunities for expanding economic ties. At the same time, the parties agreed to hold reciprocal official visits at the highest level when the situation with the coronavirus pandemic allows. A white phosphorus bomb was defused in Alkanlı village of Fevralın region, liberated from the occupation. AD to President Hikmet Hacıyev and representatives of foreign media were observing the process. It should be noted that the use of white phosphorus bomb is prohibited.
Hikmet Hacıyev, AD to the President, said they had reported on Armenia's wide use of white phosphorus bombs in order to set forests around Shusha on fire during the conduct of military operations. White phosphorus was not only used in these operations, but in the previous ones as well. In the April of 2016 battles, they used the prohibited white phosphorus extensively. It was clear that their targets were peaceful civilians, civilian structures, sowing fields and Azerbaijani armed forces. We are collecting information which will be presented to the relevant international organizations as well as to the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons. Gazanfer Ahmedov, head of the Azerbaijan National Agency for Mine Actions, said this ammunition, which contains white phosphorus, is used by the Armenian armed forces. This is not the first time this has happened. It was dropped on October 8th on the territory of Füzuli region. We found it. Then on the 4th and 5th of this month, one phosphorus bomb was dropped on the territory of Terter region.
Azerbaijan waged a 44-day war on its territories, recognized by the international community. This legal framework provided for the neutrality of various power centers as well as countries mediators in the settlement and the conflict. In his interview to Russia 24 TV channel, Russian President Vladimir Putin openly commented on the political diplomatic aspects of the conflict.
Territorial integrity of Azerbaijan was never questioned in the negotiations regarding the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict and the related adopted documents. By establishing a political diplomatic framework over the years, the official Baku formed Azerbaijan's right to ensure its territorial integrity even by military force if the peaceful way was not possible. And this happened. By a military political solution, Azerbaijan destroyed occupants' attempts to change the subject of negotiations and to present Nagorno-Karabakh as the site of the conflict at the diplomatic table. President İlham Aliyev said that we have heard the same words year after year for 30 years. There is no military solution to the conflict. This issue must be resolved peacefully. But we have proved that there is a solution to the conflict, including a military solution. Thanks to the courage or bravery of heroic servicemen and at the cost of the lives of our martyrs, we have proved this to the whole world. This is a military solution to the conflict, and we have achieved it. If it had not been for the military solution, the enemy would not have signed an act of capitulation. During the 44-day war, the legal diplomatic framework formed by official Baku in connection with the conflict neutralized the possibility of other parties interfering in the operations. For example, in the position of Russia, which plays an important role in the security of the region, this has shown itself until the end. The support expressed by Russian President Vladimir Putin for the territorial integrity of Azerbaijan in his interview to Russia 24 TV channel is a logical continuation of the position based on international law. In the interview, it was expressed openly that Azerbaijan carried out military operations to ensure its territorial integrity. From the point of view of international law, Azerbaijan has reclaimed the territories considered by the world community to belong to Azerbaijan, said the Russian president. The most frequent destination for intervention of the Prime Minister of Armenia, whose invincible army was crushed during the 44-day war, was Moscow. However, Russia's response was adequate as per international law. The SCTO has a commitment to Armenia's security, and the current war is not in Armenian territory. In this latest interview, the Russian president preferred the same rhetoric. According to international law, Karabakh has always been an integral part of Azerbaijan, and the CSTO could not interfere because no one attacked Armenia, Putin said. In response to the question, is there no danger that the people who will come to power in Armenia will refuse to fulfill the signed statement, the president said it would be equal to a suicide. It would be a big mistake. I hope it will not happen. Yes, the new reality created by Azerbaijan is recognized and accepted at all levels. Turkey's participation in the security of the region is part of this reality. Azerbaijan has the right to choose any ally that helps it. Turkey is a member of the OSCE Minsk group on the settlement of the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict from the very beginning, and it is difficult to accuse Turkey of violating international law. This views of the Russian president also confirms that Turkey has become an important participant in both the process of political settlement of the conflict and the provision of regional security. At the same time, it seems that the Kremlin used its relations with Ankara not in the historical aspect, but in the context of today's realities. Quote, "The history of relations between many European nations has been no less dense and tragic. France and Germany, these countries have fought each other many times, and now they carry out defense and security functions together within NATO and cooperate within the European Union. They have overcome all these difficulties and are working for the future of their people. Why can't we do the same in the Black Sea region?" End of quote. The last rhetorical question of the Russian president also reflects Moscow's attitude to the prospects of cooperation with Ankara. Undoubtedly, this cooperation is very important for the security and development of the region, including in terms of the interests of Azerbaijan.
After the glorious and victorious army of the Republic of Azerbaijan liberated the city of Shishab from occupation on November 8th, the historical name Shishab was redesigned in the colors of our flag and installed at the main entrance to the city. We present to you this video footage. The 6-lane Ahmed Beyli Fizuli Shusha highway will be built in accordance with the order signed by President İlham Aliyev. Deputy head of the State Agency for Highways, Hidayat Rustamov, said this in an interview to AZTV channel.
Deputy head of Azərbaycan Avtomobil Yolları State Agency, Hidayat Rustamov, said it was an important road and it was crucial both in terms of tourism and the development of Shusha. It was planned that this road will be 6 lanes. 4 lanes will be the main ones, and 2 with the width of 7.5 meters will be used in a 2-way direction and mainly for trucks. This road will be of the first technical level. A dividing line will be built between the opposite lanes. According to the preliminary estimates, the length of the road will be about 101 kilometers. However, this will be clarified during the construction and design.
Armenians leave Lachin. The BBC published an extensive article about this. The article says that Lachin is an Azerbaijani city through which the main road between Armenia and Nagorno-Karabakh passes. Under the terms of agreement, on the end of the Second Karabakh War, the Lachin region will be transferred to Azerbaijan on December 1st, and only a 5 kilometers wide corridor will remain under the control of Russian peacekeepers. Reuters also presented the world with the examples of Armenian fascism in Kalbajar. The agency has prepared a story about the burning of houses by Armenians in the Kalbajar region of Azerbaijan. Reuters correspondents witnessed the burning of 6 houses in a small village. It's brought to the attention that the Armenians are leaving the territory on the basis of ceasefire agreement with the mediation of Russia. The video also highlights the Nagorno-Karabakh and adjacent regions are the internationally recognized territory of Azerbaijan. 2,239 infections with the novel coronavirus were registered in Azerbaijan. 1,217 people recovered after treatment and were released home. 25 people who earlier tested positive for COVID-19 virus died. The overall confirmed cases in Azerbaijan have reached 81,397 with 58,111 recoveries and 1,030 deaths. The number of active infections is 22,256. To detect new infection cases, overall 1,549,568 tests have been conducted in Azerbaijan so far. The task force under the Cabinet of Ministers reported. That was all for today. Thank you for being with us. Goodbye.